The question, how many more houses can be built? Just here opposite Nanselvern House on the A30, close to the Haymore roundabout. Behind me, a rather large construction of houses, 70 houses going in to this former field. I don't know how many more houses are going to be built. Hello and welcome to another episode of A Bright Side. I am on my way to Castle Horneck. Let's go check it out. Yeah, this is a fairly busy thoroughfare here on the outskirts of Penzance. Keep going down that way and you get to the Haymore roundabout. If you're local, you'll know exactly where I am. This development here started a few months ago and it is well and truly underway. Obviously some more houses in this region to go up, but over there, they're nearly built, nearly finished. 70 houses gone into this area. People did reject against it, but you know, here we are anyway. I'm just gonna carry on walking down the A30 now towards the St. Just roundabout in the direction of the Polgoon vineyard and orchards, which is all that area. Quite an expansive area in behind that tree line. Yet another building proposal has been put forward. Yes. When's it gonna stop? When is it gonna stop? Got this little stream, I assume like a man-made waterway there, just to help with like flooding issues, that type of thing. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I assume it has been manipulated by mankind for the good of this road so it doesn't flood, blah 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 blah. I assume that's what that's for. I don't think it's natural anyway. Looks like it goes down into that like well formation. I'm obviously not here to document the flow of water, like goes into like that culvert thing. It will take it underneath the road there, the A30. Yeah, I don't know, that just kind of fascinated me. I've kind of digressed from the subject matter. Okay, I'm nowhere near exceeding the... Just tripped over some sod. Anyway, yeah, I'm not going to be exceeding the 50-mile-per-hour speed limit. Made it down to the entrance here of Castle Horneck. Turn off here by Polgoon. Never eaten in there before. I've been into the shop lots of times. Been into its little shop. Do enjoy the cider and the juices and whatnot, but I've never eaten there. Maybe one day we will. So I think my first point is going to be safety. On this road, on this stretch of the A30, you can see, again if you're familiar you'll know, but you can see there that it is not a dual carriageway, it's just like single lane. And we do often get collisions, car wrecks, etc. because it's quite an open road. And although the speed limit is only 50 miles per hour, people do tend to drive faster because it is an open road. So people then get a bit cocky, they then overtake a slower vehicle and often end up in some sort of situation, which actually, as of a recording of this, only happened about 2 weeks ago. Just up there, there was a fairly major smack up where there was a head-on collision. No one was killed, luckily, no one was killed. But it is quite a busy road, particularly during the school drop-off, blah, blah, blah. Now this turn off here to Castle Horneck, which is a youth hostel up there, we'll go and have a little look in a minute. It is ultimately, you have to just stop in the road and you turn in. There are no traffic lights, there's no roundabout, so it is just like a T-junction, if you will. When that development opens up over yonder, the 70 houses gone in opposite Nanselvern House, to my knowledge, there is going to be no roundabout or lighted junction. 70 houses, 70 plus cars, we can assume, extra in this vicinity. It is going to make things even busier. But what is going to make things even more busier in upcoming years, if it goes ahead, is this whole area behind me. A brand new proposal for building houses has been put forward. Can you imagine the amount of traffic in that circumstance? So again, if you're unfamiliar, just to let you guys know that you when you turn off of this, I've got my coffee here, very hot beverage in my Tim Hortons sort of takeout mug thing. Not a takeout mug, you know what I mean, like a drinking vessel, as it were, that we bought in Tim Hortons. But when you turn off the road, you've got 3 roads, that one, and then you turn hard right into Polgoon. There are houses up there. There are some properties on quite a lot of land up there. It's out the way. Doesn't really bother anybody. But this proposal, let me just cross over here. We have been up here on the channel before. It's a lovely area. And this is the other point. It is a lovely, lovely area. And the potential of losing it to houses, yet more houses, I think is going to be awful. So what you would do, I haven't seen any like plans in terms of the layout of the houses, but I will show you a map of the proposed area in a minute. But this here is the Larigan River that runs all the way down to the sea. This is the one that starts up Madron Way, etc, etc. All of this is going to be turned into houses if it passes. It's over 11 acres of land spread throughout 6 fields. So what people are going to have to do, they're going to drive, this will become, I don't know if the road will be widened or whatever, but they'll have to do something with this road because, you know, it's full of potholes. It's not like a, you know, it's not a main road, it's just like a lane. So this would have to be expanded upon because people will have to drive up this area to access the new housing. So there'll be some sort of bridge. There would have to be a bridge over the river, unless of course they turn into the junction where the youth hostel is, which again I'll show you in a minute. Again, this, you know, this is a beautiful area. I think my issue is all these houses built over there, they don't ever tear up. They never seem to tear up a brownfield site. This is going to turn into a bit of a rant video, so I apologise in advance. Nobody denies the fact that we need more housing in the UK. We have a housing crisis. We need to face up to that. But none of these developers seem to be prepared to develop the scarred and wrecked land that would be considered brownfield, because it would cost them too much money. It's far, far easier to dig up a nice green field. So basically 11 acres of land over yonder, again we'll take a closer look in a minute, with 140 new houses. So that development, just to put it into context, twice as large as that development opposite Nan Solvern House. 140 houses are proposed to be going into this area. Of course, they've sweetened the deal by saying there's going to be a little bit of green space allocated and whatnot, stuff like that. You know, the usual fancy bits to try and, you know, get the deal to go their way. Sorry, I always just check this lane because vehicles do utilise it. I don't want to be killed up here in the region of Castle Horneck. I think it's very sad that the potential of losing this area, you know, could be a thing. My kids, if you've been watching the channel for a while, you know, you all know Tilly and AJ. I mean, my kids love this area. And I just think it's real sad. There is a property in here on the way up to the youth hostel, plus all the others just down yonder. I can't imagine that they would be happy with a development. Can you imagine all of this? I'll insert that map in now so you can kind of see the fields that are being proposed. It's all there within that red line. So I'm just going to step out into the field. I'll bring that map back in a minute. I just want to show you this beautiful field, and it will extend down into this wooded grove area, 140 houses, and it will be beyond the tree line over there as well. So we will walk up to, I was going to cut through the field, but we'll stick to the lane. Oh my goodness, I just got ensnared by this. Like I was saying, no one denies the fact that we need more houses. It's a no-brainer. Growing population, etc., etc. But the infrastructure, particularly here, there's a vehicle coming, but particularly here in this end of Cornwall, the infrastructure is a little bit scant, shall we say. Every GP practice is full. I mean, dentistry, throughout the entire UK, we all know that palaver. You know, to get an NHS dentist is next to impossible. There's only one major hospital in Cornwall, Trelisk Royal Cornwall Hospital up in Truro. It's the only major hospital in Cornwall, and day in, day out, it practically runs at 110% capacity. It is full, it is over full, ambulances often queuing outside of ED. So Trelisk, as it stands, cannot cope. West Cornwall Hospital, very different to how it used to be. Used to be an acute site and whatnot, but all that's gone away. I mean, West Cornwall's still there. It's got a few beds, you know, and blah, blah, blah. It's a functioning hospital, but it doesn't do the emergency work it used to do. That's what I'm trying to say. So the infrastructure, and of course police, schools. If you've got 140 houses going in here, let's say an average of 2 to 3 to 4, give or take, people per home, you're talking quite a lot of new residents in the area who are going to want to have a GP, send their kids to school, and so the list goes on. So unless they improve infrastructure, I don't see the point of this. Oh, well, other than the fact that, let's face it, I don't think any of us are naive. I think it all comes down to one thing, and that is greed. I think greed is a massive driver here, if I'm being perfectly honest. My opinion, of course, I'm not going to name any names. I don't do that on the channel. I don't get political. Never do I get political on the channel, etc., etc. But, you know, it's greed, isn't it? Let's face it. Pure greed. 140 houses, no infrastructure, or no added infrastructure, I should say. I don't know, it's pretty sad. Here is the youth hostel here at Penzance. States here, welcome to YHA Penzance. Used to be the former homestead. Well, I say homestead, it makes it sound like they're in the middle of Oklahoma or something. But this is a former family home of the, I believe it was the, what the heck were they called? I'll think of it in a minute. They were a big sort of local family. I'll insert their name in here. And whatnot, and one of the sons became an archaeologist. He did a lot of like archaeology work back in the day, back in the Victorian period and whatnot. What the heck were they called? Anyway, I'll write it in there. So basically the proposal, sorry I keep flashing that, it's not an advert for Tim Hortons, it's just this my free hand. Basically the building work is going to be going all the way around the sort of rear of Castle Horneck. I don't know what this like van is doing here. What the heck? I'm gonna somehow, oh dear, I don't think this is very good because of idea. I've just got my shoes. Can I get past here? Can I do it? Because I have to do it because I want to show you guys like the, oh dear, that's a highly uncomfortable experience. Actually, surely this isn't right to park a geek truck here. This is a public byway. Oh, goodness sake, what is wrong with people? What the heck? Anyway, that's made me a bit cross actually, because you know, people want to access this area. Right, yeah, so this is the other side of that field. Again, I'll put that map in again now. Actually, I don't know how far I'm going to be able to get up here because it really is quite boggy. We've had a lot of rain recently as of recording of this video. But yeah, here's the other side. So this is all going to be turned into houses. Again, I'll put the map in so you can see everything within the red line is the proposed build site. Beautiful day as well. Right, I'm just going to venture a little bit further down this track just to show you guys like the, oh dear me, just show you guys. So again, all this area here, these fields are all going to be torn up if the proposal goes ahead. Now interestingly, very recently, a couple of days ago, the Penzance Town Council met to discuss planning, their usual weekly or monthly planning, however often they hold their planning. Now, Penzance Council, the Town Council, rejected this proposal. So that is obviously good news if you want to keep things the way they are, with these beautiful fields, nature, etc. But this is the crux of it. Although the town council has rejected, that is not to say that Cornwall Council will reject it, because now it's gone through the planning commission here in town locally. As always, now it will go up to Cornwall Council, and I think, you know, I'm in Cornwall Council, I mean, they don't often listen to the town council, so it is likely that they will pass it. In my opinion, I think that they will pass it. But again, that's my opinion. Don't take any of that as gospel. But I fear the worst for this area, if I'm being honest, because Cornwall Council, I assume they have a lot more pressure put on them by central government, you know, and to sort of paraphrase Donald Trump a little bit, you know, build baby build, get the economy back up and going. Houses are gonna, you know, a lot of red tape is being dropped or is in the process of being dropped to make these developments easier, and with a lot of pressure put on local authorities, etc., by central government, I don't know, will they be able to say no to this development? All this field as well, looking at the map, will be churned up, and it does it. We don't encroach on our Iron Age settlement. So I'm just still here dodging the mud and getting tangled up in all of these what are these called? Bramble things. But we are getting quite close now to Lazingy Round, which is obviously a scheduled site. I mean, they won't be building around Lazingy Round, but you know, just a few hundred yards up there's an Iron Age settlement, and here they are talking about chewing up all these fields. I don't know. That's kind of the end of the video, really. I just wanted to come up here and document it while it's still lovely and green. What's your opinion? Again, I'm in the camp that we do need more houses, but they've got to be built sustainably and sensibly, not just, you know, put up willy-nilly to make a profit. And also, one of the points that the government always says, build more houses and you lower the house, the house cost to buy, I mean. And I think for those of you guys who are local, live in Cornwall, etc., etc., I mean, we know that is an absolute joke. House prices are astronomical in Cornwall. Local people cannot afford to buy, and it makes me sad that my hometown of Penzance, I cannot afford to buy a house with one extra bedroom. I can't afford it. It's not in my price range at all. I've got 2 kiddos. As you know, if you've been watching the channel, I've got 2 kiddos. Matilda is almost 9 as of the recording of this. AJ has just turned 6. You know, they're growing up. They're growing up fast. They share a bedroom. I cannot afford to move house. And if you watch one of our recent videos, which actually was to do with AJ's birthday, part of it was a home vlog. I showed you like the interior of like our bedroom cupboard, which I sorted out. It's just a little bit back in the playlist if you want to watch that. And I stated there that 2 or 3 years ago, 4 years ago, something like that, we tried to move house. And it was during the pandemic, and we were gazumped and at every turn. People with a lot more money than us. So there were a couple of houses where our purchase had been agreed. We had sold our home where we currently live, and we had a phone call from the estate agent, like within days of agreeing terms, blah, 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 blah. One house, we even spent a fortune doing the surveys, all that sort of thing. And we had a phone call from the estate agent to say that the buyer has decided to renegotiate the cost or the price because another party had become interested and they had massively outbid us. They had just bought online. I don't think, as I understand it, I don't think that they had even viewed the house. And it's not a rant about people coming down here from up country to live, but it was a bit irritating when they went about 20 grand over the asking price, blew us out the water. The estate agent asked, could we go up and match it? Obviously, absolutely out of the question, and we lost that house. That happened to us 2 times. Plus there were other houses during that process that we saw and liked, blah, blah, blah. Completely out of our price range. What I do not see, coming back to point, what I do not see, all these houses being built within Cornwall, and I do not see anything that is affordable. There is nothing affordable for me and Shelley. And you know what? We've got pretty good jobs as far as Cornwall goes. I never discussed on the channel what we do outside of YouTube, in that's our business. We do keep things relatively private in that regards, and you know, and other things. I mean, ultimately we do put ourselves out there on YouTube, but I mean, you know, a lot of stuff we rightly keep private. So I never discuss work or anything like that, but we do both work. We do both earn money, relatively good money for Cornwall, and yet we cannot afford to buy a house in our hometown. I think that is pretty sad, because I don't want to move. I don't want to particularly leave Penzance. The kids are here, they go to school in Penzance, they are settled, they have friends. And I don't want to move. I don't want to particularly move to another place. And even if we were going to, where would we move within Cornwall that would be affordable? There is nothing in Cornwall that is affordable right now. And the whole point of building these homes is to bring down the cost. I don't see any of that happening, which just leads me to the sad conclusion, I'm almost done with my rant, that greed is the main driving force here. There are people out there, you're developers, again, I'm not going to go into any details, I'm not going to certainly name names or things like that, but there are people out there making a massive amount of money from our beautiful fields here in Cornwall, and I just think it's really sad. But you know, I'm a little man. I don't mean in stature, I'm average height, but ultimately I'm a little man, a little tiny cog in this whole system that is Cornwall, the UK, etc. I have no say. I feel that we, the people, again, I'm not a revolutionary. I want you to know that as well. I'm not a revolutionary, but I do feel that we, the citizen, the voter, I do feel that we're ignored. Just listening to those little songbirds there, up in the trees. Let's just hope that Cornwall Council sees a little bit of sense and rejects this proposal. Like I said, the town council, Penzance Council, has rejected it. So I take that as a positive. But again, quite often Cornwall Council does ignore the town council. Again, going back to the development of the harbour, the upcoming demolition of the waterside meadery. There was a lot of people that signed that petition in the Penzance area, and people who were not in Penzance who signed that petition to save the meadery. But according to one Cornwall councillor, apparently 11,000 people can be wrong. You know what? We can be wrong, but we still should be listened to. Anyway, rant over, video over. Forgive me, because I am quite cross about all of this. I am quite cross with the insatiable greed and corruption as I see it. Again, I don't get political on the channel, but some things occasionally have to be stated, and this is one of those times. And I think it's all kind of all joined in with that harbour development. Yeah, go ahead and develop the harbour, redevelop the harbour, do the little bits and pieces down there, Taylor's Garage, etc. That definitely needed to go. Yeah, cool. Put some apartments on it, blah, blah, blah. But not the meadery, a thriving business. It's one of the most popular restaurants in Penzance, always busy, and it's going to be scat down. It doesn't make any sense to me. But anyway, like I said, what can you do? Who am I? I am but a little cog in the United Kingdom. But yeah, anyway, I don't know where I'm going with that bit. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'm interested to hear what you say. If you're pro development here, if you're anti a development here, let me know. Let's open up a discussion on this. Keep it all clean, of course. Like, again, not a political channel, no names, nothing like that. Don't want anything mentioned like that. I'll ignore any comments that are not appropriate, etc, etc. But constructive comments, either for or against, I will respond to. I've suddenly remembered it's the Borlays family that were, or are, I've no idea if the Borlays family are still around. I know I wrote that in earlier, I put it in text format there in the middle of your screen, but Borlays, glad I remembered it. We are going to leave the video there. I do hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to do all the usual YouTube stuff, like, subscribe, smash the bell. Check us out on all of our socials at the bright side. So from us to you, cheers and gone. It's lovely little waterfall there. Nice.